You know, the United States Supreme Court is deciding whether or not the Biden administration has the ability, the executive privilege, executive authority to forgive student debt. This is a very complicated matter, but it really ain't. I mean, in all honesty, let's break this thing down. To take R&D out of it, take liberal and conservative out of it, take socialism and libertarianism out of it. Is the American way you pay your freight or not? Is the American way you take care of your own or not? I understand it takes a village to raise a child. I don't buy into that, but I understand how someone could expect that to be the American way. But let's go to student debt for a second, because the United States Supreme Court is deciding whether or not the Biden administration has overstepped its executive authority in abiding by what they call the HEROES Act. Forget the acts, forget policy, forget legislation. We're going to ask people who didn't go to college, who don't have a degree, who didn't incur any student debt, to be responsible for people who did go to college, may or may not have gotten a degree, may or may not have got a job commensurate with that degree. How has that become so complicated? Because Washington intervened, because the government meddled in the affairs of the private sector. And when government meddles in the affairs of private sector, it always screws it up. Not sometimes, not most of the time, every single time the government meddles in the affairs of capitalism, capitalism becomes distorted, not in a positive way, but in a negative way. So forget the HEROES Act. Forget the Biden administration, forget the Trump administration, forget the potential next administration, forget Congress. The American way is to pay your way. And there is no reason that people who didn't go to college, who don't have a degree, should pay for those who did go to college and do have a degree.